Welcome to another deep dive. This
Oh, yeah.
week, we're diving into the world of cybersecurity.
Yes.
You've given me quite
Wow.
a stack of articles and reports this week.
A lot going on.
It feels like every time I refresh the news, there's another attack, another vulnerability.
Yeah.
It's a
It's a busy week.
it's a real cat and mouse game out there.
It certainly is a constantly evolving landscape.
Yeah.
One of the things that I'm seeing this week that's striking
Okay.
is how attackers are increasingly blurring the lines between legitimate tools and malicious activity.
Okay, so let's unpack that a little bit.
Yeah.
Some of these reports from Checkpoint Research and Malwarebytes
Right.
really highlight the scale of these recent ransomware attacks.
Yeah.
Universities, healthcare providers,
Mm-hmm.
even tribal governments. It seems like no one is immune.
Right.
Is this a new trend?
Well, ransomware itself isn't new,
Okay.
but the sheer scale and impact of these attacks
Right.
are definitely escalating.
Yeah.
I mean, the Symantec imaging breach, for example,
Right.
impacted over 130,000 individuals.
Wow.
And then we have the University of Notre Dame, Australia, dealing with the exposure of sensitive student medical documents.
Yeah.
These attacks have real-world consequences for everyday people.
Yeah, it's unsettling to think about that disruption to healthcare, financial losses, the potential identity theft.
Yeah, absolutely.
It feels like such a violation.
Mm-hmm.
And we mentioned these ransomware gangs, Medusa Fought.
Yeah.
It adds a sinister element to it, like something out of a movie.
These groups are becoming increasingly organized and sophisticated.
Okay.
They're not just encrypting data anymore.
Right.
They're stealing it and threatening to release it publicly.
Oh, wow.
It's a double extortion tactic that really ups the stakes.
So it's not even just about getting your data back.
Mm.
It's about preventing it from being
Right.
splashed all over the internet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So how are they getting it? What are some of the techniques that they're using to infiltrate these systems?
Well, one particularly concerning trend is the rise of what are called LOLBins,
LOLBins.
Hmm.
That sounds almost heartless.
living off the land binaries.
Okay.
The name might sound innocuous,
Right.
but the reality is anything but.
Okay.
It's like a thief using a spare key hidden under your doormat to break into your house.
I see.
LOLBins are legitimate tools and programs already present on your computer,
Okay.
things you might use for system administration or other essential tasks, but in the wrong hands, they can be weaponized.
So they're using everyday tools
Yes.
to bypass security systems?
That's right.
Like what?
Well, take wmec.exe, for example,
Okay.
a tool found on Windows systems.
Mm-hmm.
It's a powerful utility for managing system configurations,
Right.
but attackers can exploit it to move undetected within a network,
Wow.
steal data,
Mm.
or even maintain persistent access to a compromised system. What makes LOLBins so dangerous is that they're trusted by the operating system itself.
I see.
Antivirus software often struggles to differentiate between legitimate
Right.
and malicious use,
Yeah.
making these attacks very difficult to detect.
So it's like a wolf in sheep's clothing.
You could say that.
So traditional security measures aren't enough to protect against these kinds of attacks.
Well, you need a more layered approach to security.
Okay.
Think of it like building a fortress with multiple walls and defenses,
Okay, I like that analogy.
each designed to thwart different kinds of attacks.
So what would some of those layers look like in practice?
Well, one crucial layer is something called endpoint detection and response, or EDR.
EDR.
Instead of just relying on antivirus to scan for known threats,
Okay.
EDR continuously monitors activity on your computer and looks for any suspicious behavior.
So it's like having a security guard constantly watching for anything out of the ordinary.
That's a good way to put it.
So it's not just about catching the bad guys. It's about understanding their tactics and seeing the patterns of an attack as it unfolds.
Exactly.
I see.
And then you have SIEM security information and event management.
Yeah, okay.
Think of this as your central command center.
Okay.
It gathers security logs from all your different systems,
Mm-hmm.
analyzes them, and looks for any red flags that might indicate an attack.
Okay, so EGR is our security guard on the ground.
Mm-hmm.
SIEM is our intelligence analyst back at headquarters,
Right.
piecing together the clues.
Exactly.
What else do we need in our arsenal?
Another powerful tool is user and entity behavior analytics, or UEBA.
UEBA.
This technology built a profile of your normal behavior on your computer.
Okay.
If you suddenly start doing things that are out of character,
Right.
like accessing files you never touch,
Mm-hmm.
UEBA will raise an alarm.
That's pretty amazing. It's like having a system that knows you so well, you can tell when someone's trying to impersonate you.
Yeah. It's very powerful.
But it's also crucial to remember the basics, right?
Absolutely.
Regular patching, the principle of least privilege, and command line monitoring.
Right.
These may seem mundane, but they can be your first line of defense.
Very important.
But isn't patching a losing battle if attackers are always finding new vulnerabilities?
Well,
The reports are packed with...
it could feel that way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
News about Patch Tuesday and
Right.
zero-day exploits, it's a
It-
bit overwhelming.
It can be a little overwhelming, yeah. Microsoft's February Patch Tuesday, for instance, addressed a whopping 67 vulnerabilities.
Wow.
And 3 of those were classified as critical.
67 vulnerabilities. That's a lot to keep up with.
It is.
And some of these are zero-day vulnerabilities, right?
That's right.
Which means that they're being exploited before a patch is even available.
Correct.
It feels like a race against time.
It is in many ways.
Yeah.
Take the zero-day vulnerability found in Microsoft's ancillary function driver.
Right.
It was already being actively exploited in the wild.
Mm.
The longer you wait to patch your systems, the greater the risk of being compromised.
Okay.
But the good news is, organizations like SANS Internet Storm Center are constantly monitoring these threats
Okay.
and providing guidance on how to protect yourself.
That's reassuring to know.
Mhm.
So patching, multi-layered security, staying informed.
Right.
It's a lot to juggle.
It is.
But we've been talking a lot about organizations.
Yeah.
What about protecting ourselves at home?
Right.
Any tips from the SANS Internet Storm Center on that front?
They had some interesting advice on securing your network edge devices,
Okay.
specifically your router.
Okay.
It's often overlooked.
Mm.
But your router is essentially the gateway to your home network.
Right.
If it's compromised, attackers could gain access to all the devices connected to it,
Right.
your computers, your phones, even your smart appliances.
Okay, I hadn't really thought about my router as a potential security risk.
Mm-hmm.
Suddenly I'm feeling a little vulnerable.
Right.
What can I do to protect it?
First and foremost, limit access to its admin functions.
Okay.
Make sure it's only accessible from within your local network.
Right.
And change those default credentials.
Oh, yeah, good point.
Use a strong, unique password
Mm-hmm.
and enable multi-factor authentication if your router supports it.
Okay.
Think of it like changing the locks on your front door.
Okay, changing those passwords as we speak.
There you go.
What else?
Treat those router updates just like you treat your phone updates.
Mm-hmm.
Don't ignore them.
Yeah.
Schedule a monthly router update day to check for and install the latest firmware.
I like that router update day.
Mhm.
Maybe I'll light some aromatherapy candles and make it a real spa day for my router.
There you go.
While we're at it,
Yeah,
consider exploring open source solutions for your router firmware.
that's a good idea.
Okay.
Open source options often have a better security track record
Okay.
and give you more transparency and control over your device.
Okay. Yeah.
And finally, remember those edge devices are endpoints too.
Mhm.
Installing endpoint protection software can provide an extra layer of security.
So it's not just about protecting our computers and phones.
Right.
It's about securing our entire home network.
Yes,
It's a whole new way of thinking about cybersecurity.
it is. And remember, knowledge is power.
Right.
The more you understand about the threats and how to mitigate them,
Yeah.
the better equipped you'll be to stay safe online.
Speaking of threats, the elephant in the room is phishing. It feels like it's been around forever.
Right.
Is it really still that big of a problem?
Phishing attacks are more sophisticated than ever.
Really?
They're designed to exploit our human vulnerabilities.
Oh, wow.
Checkpoint Research even found a Valentine's Day-themed phishing campaign
Wow.
using emotionally manipulative messages.
Preying on people's emotions on a holiday? That's pretty low.
Yeah,
And they're using AI to personalize these messages?
they are.
AI-powered phishing? That sounds terrifying.
It can be very effective.
Are they targeting anyone in particular?
It seems everyone is a potential target.
Okay.
Malwarebytes found a campaign targeting Gmail users
Mm-hmm.
with AI-powered techniques to steal credentials.
Okay.
And the Cyberpeace Institute highlighted the Cyberpeace Tracer Dashboard,
Okay.
a resource that tracks phishing campaigns specifically targeting NGOs.
So individuals, businesses, nonprofits,
Hmm.
no one is safe.
Right.
What can we do to avoid falling victim to these attacks?
Be skeptical.
Okay.
Any unsolicited email or message,
Right.
especially those asking for personal information or containing links to unfamiliar websites,
Mm,
should be treated with caution.
okay.
Double-check the sender's identity before clicking on anything.
Right.
Look for red flags like misspellings, grammatical errors, or unusual email addresses.
So no clicking on that link promising a free cruise to the Bahamas.
Probably not a good idea.
Okay.
Strong, unique passwords for all your accounts
Mm,
and enabling two-factor authentications are crucial.
Okay.
This makes it much harder for attackers to gain access, even if they steal your credentials,
Right.
and stay informed about the latest tactics by checking out alerts and advisories from organizations like SANS Internet Storm Center.
It feels like we've been talking a lot about playing defense. Is there a way to fight back against these attackers?
There is. In fact, AI is already being used to
Oh,
develop smarter security solutions that can detect and respond to threats more effectively than ever before.
okay. That's encouraging.
Hmm.
So this is like having a super smart security guard that's always learning new tricks.
Precisely.
Okay.
These AI-powered tools analyze massive amounts of data,
Right.
identify patterns and anomalies, and can even predict future attacks.
Wow.
They learn from past incidents and adapt to new threats.
Okay.
AI can automate many of the tedious and time-consuming tasks involved in cybersecurity,
I see.
freeing up human analysts to focus on the more complex issues.
So AI isn't just something to be wary of.
Right.
It can also be a powerful tool for good.
Absolutely.
Okay.
It has the potential to revolutionize cybersecurity, making us all safer,
That's amazing.
and it's an area that is rapidly evolving.
So it's not just about reacting to attacks.
Mm-hmm.
It's about using technology to be more proactive and even predict what those attackers might do next.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's a continuous process of innovation and adaptation,
Yeah.
and one that's becoming increasingly crucial in today's digital landscape.
This all sounds incredibly complex.
It can be.
Is there anything else in these reports that can help shed some light on how we can better navigate this ever-changing cybersecurity landscape?
The Shadowserver Foundation's report is definitely worth a closer look.
Yeah, that one stood out to me. They're like the cybercrime fighters working in the shadows.
They are.
Tell me more about what they do.
They provide free cyber threat intelligence to organizations and governments worldwide,
Wow.
helping them identify and mitigate vulnerabilities before they can be exploited.
Okay.
They also play a key role in disrupting botnets and taking down malicious infrastructure.
It sounds like they're making a real difference.
They are.
Their report mentioned something called a global honeypot sensor network.
Yes.
What exactly is that?
Imagine a network of digital decoys designed to attract attackers.
Okay.
That's essentially what a honeypot is.
Okay.
These decoys collect valuable data about attack techniques,
I see.
malware, even zero-day exploits.
So they're setting traps for the bad guys
That's right.
and using what they learn to protect the rest of us.
Exactly.
That's fascinating.
It's a proactive approach to gathering information about threats
Okay.
before they can cause widespread damage.
And they work closely with law enforcement agencies?
They do.
Providing technical support in cybercrime investigations?
Correct.
They sound like a real force to be reckoned with.
They are.
And they're a nonprofit organization.
They are.
That's impressive.
It is. They rely heavily on donations, grants, and partnerships.
Wow.
The report also mentioned the Registrar of Last Resort,
Okay.
a special domain name registrar used to quarantine malicious domains
Right.
identified by law enforcement or security researchers.
So like a digital jail for bad domains.
You could say that.
It's another tool being used to disrupt cybercrime and protect internet users.
It is.
It's incredible to think about all the work being done behind the scenes to keep us safe online.
It is a lot of work.
It makes you realize that we can't afford to be complacent.
No.
But with so many threats and constantly evolving techniques,
Right.
is it even possible to be truly secure online?
That's the million-dollar question.
Yeah.
The reality is there's no such thing as perfect security.
Okay.
Every system has its vulnerabilities.
Right.
The goal is to make it as difficult and costly as possible for attackers to succeed.
It's about managing risk rather than eliminating it entirely.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's about building layered defenses, staying informed, and being prepared to respond quickly if an attack occurs. We're in a constant process of adaptation and improvement.
Yeah, it seems like we're all in this together. It's not just the responsibility of security professionals. It's
Right.
up to each of us to do our part.
Absolutely. Cybersecurity is a shared responsibility.
Well said. This deep dive has certainly given me a lot to think about. I've learned so much about the threats, the techniques, and the strategies for staying ahead of the game.
Good.
But with so much information,
Yeah.
where do we even begin to make sense of it all?
Start by assessing your own risk.
Okay.
What kind of data do you have? What systems are you using?
Right.
And what are the potential threats you face?
Okay.
Once you understand your own vulnerabilities, you can start to develop a plan. There's no one-size-fits-all solution.
So it's about taking a personalized approach to cybersecurity.
It is.
But what about those of us who aren't tech experts?
Right?
Where can we go for help?
Don't underestimate the power of community.
Okay.
There are tons of resources available online, many of them free.
Right.
Organizations like SANS Institute, NIST, and CISA offer valuable guidance. There are also online forums, social media groups, and even local meetups,
Right.
where you can connect with other cybersecurity professionals
I see.
and learn from their experiences.
So it's about finding those resources and communities that work for you.
It is.
So even though the threat is real and constantly evolving, we're not powerless. There are steps we can take to protect ourselves.
Absolutely. And remember, even small steps can make a big difference.
This deep dive has been quite a journey.
It has.
From the depths of cybercrime to the potential of AI as a force for good. We've explored the technical aspects, but what about the human element?
Right.
How do we create a culture of security awareness that empowers everyone to make smarter choices online?
That's a crucial question. Technology alone can't solve this problem.
Right.
We need to foster a culture of security awareness that starts with education and training, but goes beyond just the technical stuff.
Okay, so how do we move beyond the tech and make it resonate with people who aren't necessarily security experts?
We need to make cybersecurity relevant and relatable. Explain the risks in everyday language that everyone understands. Think about like teaching kids about stranger danger.
Right.
We don't overwhelm them with statistics. We give them practical advice they can use to stay safe.
Right.
It's the same with cybersecurity.
So translate those complex concepts into something that's accessible and actionable for everyone.
Exactly.
Make it personal.
Empower people to take ownership of their own cybersecurity.
Right.
We need to move away from that mindset that security is someone else's problem and create a culture where everyone feels like they have a role to play.
That's a powerful idea.
Yeah.
Shifting from its job to we're all in this together.
Exactly.
But how do we actually make that happen?
Education is key.
Okay.
We need to integrate cybersecurity into school curricula, workplace training programs, even community outreach initiatives.
Okay.
And we can leverage the power of storytelling and social influence to spread awareness.
So make cybersecurity part of everyday conversations.
Yes.
It's not just about firewalls and passwords.
Right.
It's about being a responsible digital citizen.
You got it.
Okay.
Digital citizenship means recognizing that our actions online have real-world consequences. Just like we have rules for behavior in the physical world, we need those same standards of respect and responsibility in the digital realm.
We need to hold each other accountable for our online behavior.
Yes.
Like a neighborhood watch for the internet.
It's about creating that sense of shared responsibility.
Right.
We all have a role to play in protecting our digital world, and by working together, we can make a real difference.
This deep dive has been an incredible journey, from the nitty-gritty technical details to this bigger picture idea of digital citizenship.
Yeah.
It's clear that cybersecurity is about so much more than just technology.
It's about people values and the future we want to build.
Well said. So we've explored the threats, the defenses, the potential of AI.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it comes down to people making smart choices.
Absolutely.
And looking out for each other.
The human element is both the greatest challenge and the greatest opportunity in cybersecurity.
It's a powerful reminder that we're not just protecting data.
Right.
We're protecting our way of life in the digital age.
Exactly. And by fostering a culture of security awareness, we can create a more secure, resilient, and inclusive digital future for everyone.
This has been an eye-opening conversation. Thank you for guiding us through this complex landscape.
It's been my pleasure.
Yeah.
Remember, knowledge is power.
Right.
The more we understand about cybersecurity, the better equipped we'll be to navigate the digital world safely and confidently.
Well, that's all for this deep dive. We've uncovered hidden threats, explored cutting-edge defenses, and discovered the power of human ingenuity.
Yes.
Until next time,
Okay.
stay curious, stay informed, and stay safe out there.